Hello, this is Gio, and today's project is to install these 2-inch Faux wood blinds in this window. It's pretty simple, but you do need a few skills, and I'll show you what you need today. So one of the most important things about installing your blinds is making sure you have the right size of blinds. On this box it says 34 inches wide and 64 inches long. Now you take a tape measure and you just measure in several locations, probably middle, top, and bottom, for your width. This measurement is pretty close to 34.5 inches. You go down a little bit to the bottom, it's actually closer to 34.25. So you want to select the narrowest section, since that's the most important. If it's wider in some places, that's okay. You just select the narrowest. And so that should work with 34-inch wide blinds. Now, something about this advertised measurement, that's not the exact measurement of the blinds themselves. They are not 34 inches exactly wide. They're probably closer to 33.5 inches. But the brackets kind of make up that difference. This 34 inches is intended to indicate to you what your window width should be. So just keep that in mind. So the length, you want to go from the base to the top. Now, as you can see, this is closer to probably 58 inches. So it's a little shorter, but that is fine for blinds. You just don't want to be longer than the 64 inches in this case, because then your blinds would sort of be higher than your sill here. As long as they are shorter, then they just won't go down, or you could kind of hit the bottom and there'll be a little extra, but you'll be fine. Just don't purchase blinds that are shorter than your window. So here I took the blinds out of the box, and you can see the blinds themselves with cords. There's a few cords here for adjustment as well. There's also, in this case, is this face plate, which after you install them, you'll install this up on top to kind of hide this top amount. And you have a fair amount of screws and brackets. So these are the main brackets you're going to install. There's kind of a central bracket to hold in the middle, and then end brackets which attach to the ends. Now in this case, if I could open this up with one hand, you can see this one kind of opens up. And so when this is installed, actually I got these in reverse. When this is attached here, you'll just slip in the end of this this blind into this slot and then shut it, and it'll lock in place. This central bracket actually will attach here, and you'll just slide it in. Now, even though it's kind of a short window width, you do want this central bracket, just because, not because so much of the weight of the blinds themselves, but when you pull this down to bring up the blinds, you're applying a lot of force to these brackets. And if you don't have them properly secured, you could actually pull the whole blind down. So one of the first things I want to do is just to confirm that the width is okay. Now you could either have some helper kind of hold this up and hold these in place, or you could just kind of like hold these, put this bracket on this side, this bracket on that side, and kind of look how much room you have. So we got probably about 1/4 inch, maybe 1/3 of an inch there, and on this side another 1/4 of an inch. But both sides, so if I move this all the way over, actually I think it is all the way over, with that, this still has enough that it'll actually support the blinds. So you just don't, if this end actually extended out of this bracket, then it could actually slip off. So you just want to make sure that if this wiggles back and forth, that both of these end brackets will hold the blind up. So just on top, I just want to verify that this is generally level. So I just use a level, take a look at it, and yes indeed it's generally level. If it's not level, then you may need to adjust one side of the of one bracket so it's a little more level. Now these are going to be installed just like this, with some screws drilled directly into the side here. Now we could install flush against the window. We could put them in the middle or even bring them out in the end. Typically it looks better if it's a little farther back, but perhaps not all the way abutted to the window. If you want to kind of examine your window and make sure that the blinds have a free, if you lower them, they can freely, without any obstacles, go all the way down. Now you look at this, the lip of this window here, and there is a little bit of a lip. So this lip extends a little bit out beyond the window here. Also, when this lever is out, it could catch. So we don't want it exactly flush. I think if we bring it out about 1/2 inch, we should be good. So we're gonna take our little end bracket here, and initially I'm just gonna put it flush to the back here. And I'm just gonna measure, kind of do a little end right here. And then what I'm going to do is take my tape measure, if I can find my tape measure. And I'm just going to physically measure from that line an additional 1/2 inch, like that. So I have a mark 1/2 inch farther. So when I install this, and I'm going to install it generally flush to the top, maybe with a little bit 1/4 inch, a little lower perhaps, but I'm not going to go with this first line, I'm going to go with the second line, so it'll be 1/2 inch out. And then I also did it here. I just butted it, I measured it, and I put a second line here 1/2 inch out. And so I'm going to install these end pieces right now. The first thing I want to do is just to find where these holes are. I go ahead and mount, place it right there, maybe lower it just a tad, because this little door will need to come up and down, and I don't want to really scrape the top, so perhaps just maybe an 1/8 inch. And I'm going to take a sharp pencil and make the 4 circles, so I know where I'm going to drill my holes for my screws. And now here's the screws that come with the kit. And I'm just going to use a drill just slightly smaller than my screw, just to make some pilot holes so this screw can come in. Now with the pilot holes drilled, I'm just going to go ahead and screw in my screws. You can either do this by hand, or it's a little easier with a drill if you have one. So the 2 end brackets are up, and now we need the middle bracket. So I grab the middle bracket here. Now a couple of things. You don't necessarily want to just stick it in the center. You want to look at your blinds and see what's going on. Now if I could just knock this down again. You see there's some string kind of right in the middle. So if you were to, I'll just reverse this for now. If you were to put this in the middle, it would be in the way of the string. So you either want to put it on one side or the other side. Either way will work, but I think I'll keep it on this side just because it's closest to the pull string, and the most force is actually on this side. So I think I'll just have a little offset, and so I'm just going to put this on back and then lift up my blinds and see kind of where this bracket should lie. So I'm just going to hold up this, kind of put the bracket on the other side, just on a little bit on right of the string, and then kind of work them into these end brackets. And they seem to sit pretty well. Actually, it is this string right here will pull out, but you can kind of see where this bracket lies. And I want it just kind of on the end. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just kind of draw a line kind of where this middle piece should be. So I'm going to center it right at that line, take this down, and go ahead and install the center bracket. Okay, so I have my little mark here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm just going to kind of abut the bracket to the back of the window, centered along this little point, and just put a mark here. And then I'm going to take my tape measure and then measure a 1/2 inch forward of that mark. like that. And so I want to install it at that point. So I'm just going to go to that front mark, make sure that it's generally square. And then I'm just going to mark my holes, pre-drill them, and then install my screws. Okay, so with all the 3 brackets up and installed, I'm going to just make sure that everything fits in properly. So I install it there. Everything seems to line up. These ends will kind of close and lock. But before I do that, there's actually another part I want to do. There is this trim piece that we have to install. I have to get this little piece out. There is a trim piece that we have to install in front. But that also needs these little plastic clips that we have to install first. And these are what the little clips look like. They just look like plastic clips. This faceplate will kind of get clipped up on top of this. Let's see if I can actually just show it. Like that. And I'll hold it. You'll see a little bit of the plastic holder in front, but it's clear. But the way you install it is you first just kind of slip these over. And again, there's components in here you want to avoid. So you want to place them so they're kind of out of the way of these little components, both sides. And now we can go ahead and put the blinds back up. Okay, we can go ahead and put it back. Everything seems good. I'm going to just clip these tight now. Just like that. You can remove them if you need to. Kind of test it out briefly, make sure it works. Let's get this. Seems to work pretty well. Good. Lift it up. Seems to be working nicely. Lock it, and then let's try the faceplate. And we just do the faceplate. So sort of clip it once, clip it twice, kind of center it up, and there you go. Seems to work pretty well. And there you go. The blinds are up, functional. Nice. I hope this video helped you out, and good luck on your next project. Bye-bye.